everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Zara and I'm a registered nurse working in the UK. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I make videos all about my life as a nurse working here in the UK. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys things I wish I knew before I went to nursing school. Now, I just want to flag something here for you guys. When I applied for nursing school or university, whatever you want to call it, I had zero experience of working in a hospital, of working in any kind of healthcare setting. I don't have anyone in my family with any medical or nursing background. I didn't have any insight into how the degree was, how studying for nursing was going to be. I literally was just going with the flow. These are things I kind of had to learn the hard way, and I want you guys to go into your degrees, into placements, knowing these things before you do. So one of the things that I wish I knew before I went to nursing school is I wish I knew the variety of nursing degrees available. So in the UK, nursing is categorized into 4 different types of pathways. You have adult nursing, children's nursing / pediatric nursing, mental health nursing, and learning disability nursing. So in the UK, when you are applying for your nursing degree, you pick one of the 4 that you are passionate about or you wish to pursue. However, I came to realize that you can actually combine those specialties. There are nursing degrees out there that combine adult and children's nursing or adult and mental health nursing. I feel like if I could kind of go back in time a little bit, that is something that I would consider doing. I think that's one thing about UK nursing is you kind of limit yourself as soon as you're applying. So I have had no experience working with children. If you put me on a pediatric ward, I wouldn't know what to do. And if you're looking to go into nursing or you don't mind having that bit more of choice as part of your degree, and then I would say these are great nursing degrees to consider. Now, I don't think that would have changed my decision in any way. I think I would have definitely have still gone down the adult nursing pathway, but it would have been great to know that these kind of degree pathways are available. So another thing that I wish I knew before I went to nursing school is your first day of placement, maybe even your first week, will be the worst. Now that might sound a bit harsh. Actually, it does sound harsh, but it is the truth. At university, they painted this very cushy picture that when you go into placements, on your first day of placement, you're going to be orientated to the ward, you're going to be meeting your mentor who's going to be with you throughout your placement, make sure you get your initial interview done on the first day, and it will all be great and smooth. Honestly, like, none of that happened, and this was consistent. Every placement that I did, and I probably did about 15 different placements in my 3 years, I haven't counted, but it was a lot of placements that I did across the 3 years. Literally the first day of every placement was the worst. And what I mean by that is you go in having this expectation set by your university. When you're actually there in practice, you're in the real world, and placements are the real world, especially as a nursing student. You are shadowing and you're working alongside a nurse. Now, I'll share with you guys a story. My first ever placement as a first year student, I was working in a cardiothoracic surgical ward. Bear in mind what I said before, I had never worked in the hospitals before. I had in my head, okay, this is what the university said to expect, and I'm just going to follow that. On my first day, I was given the name of my mentor, but I found out that the person who was meant to be my mentor was then in fact allocated to another student who was there the day before me, and therefore I was kind of left without a mentor and paired with a staff nurse who didn't have that formal mentorship qualification. So that was a little bit like, okay, that's a bit weird. I didn't receive an orientation to the ward, and that was because the ward was so busy. As soon as I came into the shift and I introduced myself, literally the nurse was like, had to panic to go and answer a buzzer, and I was just standing there like, I don't know what to do. I was just told to go and put my bag in the locker room. I wasn't even properly shown what the locker room was, but I had to go and put my bag there and then come for handover. When I came for handover, I had my practice assessment document in my hand, which is the formal document that nursing students have here in the UK to log our hours, our reflection, and so on. And I remember the ward manager going to me, we don't have time to do that right now. Grab a handover sheet, come and sit down, put your book away, and at some point in the week you will have your initial interview, but there's no time for that now. Now when I think about it, that's such a realistic situation to be in. But at the time, that was really nerve-wracking for me, and I wasn't prepared for that. I just wish that universities painted a bit more of a realistic image, and this was consistent in every single placement that I had. I always had my initial interview maybe later on in the week, or maybe even on the second week sometimes, and that is absolutely fine. I think the most important thing on your first day, just have zero expectations. What's more important is they know that you're a student nurse there. They know what year you're in as well, that you're first year, second year, or third year. If you do have the name of your supervisor or your mentor, do say it and ensure that you are allocated to the right person. And if you're allocated to a different person, that is also fine. As long as they have that supervisor slash mentorship, formal teaching, that's what's most important. So just bear in mind, your first week, your first day, you're going to be in the real world and you're going to have to adapt to the environment that you're in, and that's okay. Nursing unions. So I'm talking about unions such as Unison or like the RCN. These are brilliant organizations aimed at nursing students and nurses that I feel like there's not enough attention on them. We don't really utilize it as well as we could. I'm going to talk about the RCN because that is the union I joined as a student nurse and what I currently am a part of as a registered nurse. So let me tell you another story. When I went to university, in orientation week, which is like the first week of when you go as a fresher, so when I was a fresher at university and I was attending all of my induction lectures, there was also like a talk and this stall about the Royal College of Nursing. Now at the time, I just was mesmerized by how much free stuff they were giving, and I was kind of doing the numbers in my head, and apparently as a student nurse you get like a discounted price and you get this whole list of incentives and so on, but the only thing that I was interested in was the free pen and the free bag that they were going to give me. That's me being brutally honest. So the number one thing is the actual educational resources that they have available. They actually offer to their members access to a whole array of nursing journals and nursing resources. These are brilliant for when you're writing your assignments because you need to be referencing, of course, the most up-to-date articles and information that you find. Having access to those kind of resources at a very kind of, I'm going to say, a very reasonable price, I wish I utilized it more. Another brilliant thing about the RCN, if you're living in London, they have a library in the heart of London that actually is filled with amazing nursing books and journals and so on. And I didn't know this until the end of my studies. Just why? But why? Imagine just having a library dedicated to nursing. It's available, and I think it's like the largest nursing dedicated library in the whole of Europe. Of course, we're in the midst of a pandemic, so I think it's closed at the moment, but hopefully there will be a time when all of these things start to open again and you can actually physically visit the library as well. I really wish that someone told me more about the RCN, or at least I paid a bit more attention to what they were saying in their initial talk. So that's probably my bad in that part, but definitely utilize these amazing unions out there, these amazing organizations, because they're there for us. Absolutely make the most of it. So the last thing I want to share with you guys is, if you were to be a nurse, you had to work in a hospital and you had to work 12-hour long day shift or 12-hour night shift. Just think that couldn't be more false. And another thing that people also kind of say is, if you want to do short day shift, you want to have a bit more of a work-life balance, then you can only go into community nursing. That is not the case. I very much like working in the hospital. I prefer that over community nursing, but I was always under the impression that I am destined for a life of 12-hour shift work and working these very unsociable shift patterns. And I don't particularly enjoy working long day shifts, but I kind of get on with it and I just embrace it as much as I can. And if that kind of sounds like you as well, then I would strongly advise you watch my recent video on how I work through 12-hour shifts, where I kind of go over the coping mechanisms and the measures I put in place to essentially get by those shifts. So if you haven't already, do check out that video. There's so much variety out there. There's so many fields, there's so many specialties out there that allow you to kind of combine your love for different parts of nursing together. So before my redeployment, I work in the acute and chronic pain services in my hospital. I work in the specialty that I love, which is kind of linked to surgery. I work short day shifts, and I'm working in the hospital doing doing clinical skills. That's like a combination of all the things that I love about nursing. I didn't ever think that was possible, but it is. So if you're someone who's thinking, oh, I've got this, I can only go down this way or this way, trust me, you are in the right profession if you want to have variety. Don't let the traditional way of nursing discourage you to pursue the career, because 12-hour shifts are not the only option. If you want to work short day shifts, community nursing is also not the option. Like, there's just so many different combinations available, and you just need to find what works for you. Alright guys, that is all from me. I am sure I can think of so many more examples that I've kind of learned over the years. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you have gained from this and it puts some sort of light into the realities of nursing, especially here in the UK. If you've got any questions, honestly, you can reach out to me and I'll try my best to get back to you. Make sure you give a like on this video, share this with your friends, your work colleagues, and so on. I will see you guys in my next video. Take care and stay safe.